Hello, peeps and creeps, and welcome to Fright Club. I'm Gav, he's Danny.
Hello.
We are the Fright Club NI, and this is a brand new episode of Monday Night Frights. And on tonight's show, we're talking about the 1985 science fiction horror, Re-Animator.
You killed him.
No, I did not. I gave him life.
And we're back with another episode of Monday Night Frights. As I said in the intro, we're talking about Stuart Gordon's 1985 batshit crazy film, Re-Animator. Danny, first thoughts on this film? Don't be going into too much details.
No, my first thoughts are pretty much what you just said. Batshit crazy. Like, this film, just from the get-go, does not hold back on you're just constantly like, what the fuck's going on?
Mm-hmm.
West is one of the weirdest, like, leading men I think ever. It's just whole manner is like he's a villain, but towards the end, he like is still a villain, but is trying to be the good guy.
Yeah, he's trying to do right. You know, he's obviously trying to, do something good, but to achieve his goals, he has to kind of go in through the back door. But yeah, so he's a very strange character. He's not the most likable character, certainly in the beginning. And he's played by Jeffrey Combs, who plays him absolutely fantastic. And obviously the cast in this is fantastic as well. Like, I really enjoyed the cast. It was directed by Stuart Gordon, who sadly passed away a few years ago. This was his first feature film.
Yeah.
And he would go on to make obviously a few pretty decent films after this. This is based on a HP Lovecraft short story, which Gordon would kind of take a few other short stories of his and make feature films of them as well. But I think this is his most famous one.
Yeah, it's just one of those ones. I'd watched it a couple of years ago. I think I was kind of going through a bit of a Cronenberg thing, and it came up as like, if you enjoy Cronenberg, you might enjoy this. So I watched it and was just like, what? And then even rewatching it again now, yes, I know what happens in it, but I was still sitting there going, what?
No.
Like, it's so wild. And I mean, the main villain towards the end, like his whole thing, walking around with his head and all, and the like dummy head, the like medical model head that is very clearly like a latex mask put on the guy. Just it's excellent. And again, the practical, we are lovers of practical effects.
We sure are.
And this film is full of lovely practical effects in that they are so tacky and cheesy, and you can see all the wee seams and stuff, but it's still great. And that kind of body horror of this is just it's really out there, and it gets wilder and wilder as the whole film progresses.
I think this movie sums up 80s horror.
Yeah.
Just in 90 minutes. It was a film that I remember seeing on the video store shelves, and I hadn't watched it. It was one of those few ones that I never actually watched as a kid. I only saw this film in my mid-20s, and then properly saw it from start to finish only really not that long ago, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And just being like, what the fuck? Like, I remember seeing it when I was in my mid-20s on some channel, and I only saw a bit of it, and obviously just going in and out and not really catching the full story, and just being like, this is fucking weird. And then when I watched it for the first time properly not that long ago, I was just blown away by how 80s it was.
Yeah.
It's science fiction, it's horror, but obviously there's a lot of humor in there too.
Yeah.
And it's just the kind of perfect 80s horror film, really.
Yeah, one of the things that really sticks out for me, like you say, you kind of remember seeing it in the video stores, but I remember, was there not, there was like a special edition DVD that came out of it, and did it not have, like, if you pressed a wee button on the case, the syringe lit up?
It was something like that.
It was something like that. I can I can very distinctly remember, because the cover is always like him with the needle of the vibrant green serum. And I can just remember there was like a light up one, or it was a glow in the dark or something like that, and that just, it sticks in my mind, that sort of iconic image that you do just associate with Re-Animator is West with that big needle full of glowing. I'm pretty sure it's just glow stick fluid, but like it works so well, and as you say, that neon glow of the 80s just really comes through in the driving force that is the serum that just basically launches all the madness of this film.
I wanted, just before we get into this film, I wanted to mention something about Stuart Gordon as well. He made From Beyond, which is another sort of Lovecraft adaptation, the year after this, starring Jeffrey Combs and Barbara Crampton as well. It's another fucking mad, crazy film. Check that out if you haven't seen it.
Oh, I will.
It's even madder than this, I think. But it's got a lot of pink. A pink hue.
A pink hue.
This is a green hue. From Beyond, it's like a pink hue. And but he did a film. He actually remade The Pit and the Pendulum, which is an old film, Edgar Allan Poe adaptation back in the day. It was a Roger Corman film. He remade it with Lance Henriksen. And little funny story about The Pit and the Pendulum. I remember taping it off Sky. We used to just tape random films off Sky years and years ago. When we discovered that we could do that, I was like, "Oh, let's just randomly tape this film."
Oh, we did it too, but it was Pokemon episodes.
Yeah, it just sounded interesting. We were like, "Oh, fuck, let's tape this." We're not, And I remember watching it on a random Sunday one day. Didn't have a fucking clue what it was about. Knew it was kind of like horror, medieval type idea. Watching it at home in my living room. And there's a scene in The Pit and the Pendulum, the remake version, the Stuart Gordon version, where the lead actress gets stripped naked. And you see everything, like you see her bush and everything. And it was just like, I was a kid just being like, what's this? Like, why are they showing this? Normally they cut away from things like that. But she was sort of straddled in this sort of machine. And just as that happened, my mum walked into the room. but wait, not only did my mum walk into the room, but my mum's friend walked into the room too. In fact, it wasn't a friend. It was she was like an older family member.
Yeah,
like my dad's cousin. She was a wee bit older than my dad, but she lived very close to us, and she always came around to the house and very friendly with obviously my mum and dad. She came in as well, and I was just sitting here,
and just like, oh,
all right, just a fucking big hairy bush on the screen. Diddy's hanging out, and me just being like, all right, happy Sunday, fuck me.
Not on a Sunday.
That was a Sunday.
You shouldn't be watching smut like that on a Sunday.
That was one of the worst experiences of my entire life. I just wanted to share that really funny story, because I'd forgotten that Stuart Gordon directed that version of Pit and the Pendulum. But yeah, so this is based on a short story by HP Lovecraft called Herbert West Re-Animator. And I think it does take, a few liberties with the actual story. Obviously, they keep the name of the main character and the story itself. And it's the basic sort of kind of story. It's Stuart Gordon wanted to make a film that was inspired by Frankenstein.
Yeah.
And he loved Frankenstein growing up, and he always wanted to make something very, very like it. So somebody put the story in his lap one day and was like, "Oh, why don't you try and read this? This is kind of Frankenstein-esque." And then he decided to adapt it. And it was produced by Brian Usna, who did a lot of weird 80s horror movies. I think he did a film called Society. I don't know if you've seen it.
I've not seen it, but I've
heard of
it. But yeah,
I'm pretty sure he was involved with it. I'm not sure if he actually directed or produced it, but he produced a lot of weird, super awesome 80s horror films. And they're very body horror, very just over the top special effects, just really sort of gnarly shit. So I think he then got involved and wanted to make it into a feature film, because originally it was Stuart Gordon's idea was to make it a stage musical. Which,
I mean, I can
fucking hell,
that.
I know.
I can pick that.
Actually, there was a Re-Animator musical in 2013 or something.
Okay.
A few years ago anyway. So I don't know how successful it was or how many theaters it went to or how it toured or whatever, but they definitely put it onto the stage, which I really want to see.
I'd definitely go see that.
And his original idea was to have it as a stage musical, and then obviously that didn't happen, and he started to write it as a TV show.
Okay.
So I think he had written a full pilot, and then he wrote up to 12 more episodes for TV, and he was sort of talking to people and being like, "Oh, I want to make this as a TV show," and everybody was like, "This isn't going to work as a TV show." So I think that at that stage, that's when Brian Usna came in and they adapted it for a feature film, and they obviously put a bit of money up and made it into a feature film. So there you go. And talking about money, Danny.
Talking about money, I was going to say.
Here we go.
Money. Figures.
Figures.
Give us them digits.
It was made. The budget. Now it was an approximate budget, so I'm not too certain exact figures here. I'm sorry, people. I apologize, but the approximate budget was about 900,000, which is fucking insane that they were able to do that with 900,000. And I think that it went a bit higher than that, obviously, after they shot the actual film.
Yeah.
But box office was 2 million, so it didn't make a certain amount of box office, which you can imagine a film like that probably.
It needs cult following.
Yeah.
It's as is the way with horror most of the time. Not well. I'd say in the last lot of years, horror hasn't needed that kind of same alley-oop after cinema release, after a box office release. But definitely 80s horror and 90s horror, it got its life in VHS or DVD. Yeah,
it was definitely a film that just lived its best days on VHS, and after that, physical releases. But yeah, it's definitely a cult film. It's one of those films that amongst horror fans, it's held in high regards, but it's amongst general, fans of cinema, it's still very much, oh, what's that called? I haven't really heard of that movie, or I've heard of it, or I haven't seen it. But amongst general fans, that is. But horror fans fucking love Re-Animator.
Oh yeah, I mean that's it. It's because it is categorized as horror comedy. I think that is why people really enjoy it. I think anyone who is a horror fan absolutely loves horror comedy. And again, this kind of has there's kind of serious kind of horror-y moments in it, but it's also kind of campy. And I think that's what really appeals to the horror family,
I think the difference between this and something like Ghostbusters, or even Rocky Horror, or other horror comedies that we've spoken about before, like Beetlejuice, this is played dead serious.
Yeah.
Even though it is full of comedy and there's comedy elements in it, like it's done serious, I love the fact that it is sort of serious, and Herbert West especially, super fucking serious. So serious,
such a serious character, and I think that's what makes it even funnier when he does like mood moments. It's like when he's like, I know we'll obviously get into this more, but there's a scene where he's like comforting Dan, and he kind of comes down over him, and it's like basically lying on him and like petting him and telling him it's all going to be okay. And I know that just cracked me up because you just didn't expect it from Herbert, and just the way he did it, I was like, oh, he's such a wee creepy bastard, but isn't it a great moment, Yeah, but what a well played character though.
Yeah,
so well played, and he he fulfilled the brief.
Definitely did. Like, fantastic performance. And after this, he'd go on and do From Beyond, and he's done a few other things after that as well. But it was really this performance that sort of cemented Jeffrey Combs in sci-fi horror history as such a lovable character and a lovable actor. Yeah. Brian Usna actually brokered a deal after they decided to make it into a feature film. He brokered a deal with Charles Band's Empire Pictures, which is kind of infamous production company that made a lot of really bad 80s horror films and other genre films as well. But they infamously made Troll.
Oh,
Yeah, I know.
Did they do Troll 2 as well?
I'm pretty sure, yeah, Troll 2. They did Ghoulies as well, which is
course.
fucking. Oh man, Ghoulies is just such
Ghoulies.
such
Wee
a special
Ghoulies.
place in my heart, man.
I have seen clips from Ghoulies, but have never watched it in its entirety. So I feel will we maybe jump on that next season?
We'll definitely
watch a little Ghoulies. Mostly just because we're wild for calling just what a ghoulie.
I know. We are Ghoulies. We are a couple of Ghoulies.
A couple of wee Ghoulies.
I know. I love Ghoulies. It was just Ghoulies. The poster to Ghoulies of the wee green man coming out of the toilet.
Yep.
That was a poster that was stuck up in one of my first video stores that I remember going into, and every time I walked in, it was just there, and that just stuck in my brain, and it's still there. And I remember Ghoulies Go to College, which is the third one, which is really that really went from comedy horror to comedy. It really went out there with the comedy, and there was a lot of boobies in it as well. I remember having that. I remember
that's all those movies though.
Yeah, I know. But I remember buying the VHS at a market stall or something. Like, I don't know how.
Was it a wee pirate job?
No, it was a real legit VHS, but I don't know how I got it because I wasn't old enough to buy it. So
okay, if you got it in Nuts Corner, they wouldn't have cared.
I don't think it was
oh, it's alright with your man.
I know.
Alright, go on.
I don't think it was Nuts Corner. It wasn't. It was a legit video. It wasn't like a cheap fucking fake video or anything. But I do remember it was one of those big boxes. So it must have been ex-rental, but it was like a big purple box. Right. And recently in one of the Facebook groups that I'm on, somebody was talking about it, and I said, I remember having the big purple box, and the guy posted a picture. He must have had it in his collection, and he posted it, and just seeing it, man, was just like, just brought me back, because I know I wore that video out because there was a lot of tits. There was a lot of tits in it, and I don't know what age it was. It was probably like 12 or 13 or something, but I just remember watching it and just being like, this is so fucking awesome.
Boobies.
So stupid, but so over the top and just so awesome. So yes, we will be talking about Ghoulies at some point in the future, whether it be a bonus episode or something else, or maybe an episode of this Monday Night Frights show.
I'm keen. I love those wee creature features and stuff like that. And have you seen Troll 2?
I can't remember. I'm sure I've definitely seen. I know it's like one of the worst films ever. I've definitely seen Troll. I've seen Troll. I'm sure I have seen Troll.
I am up for watching
Harry Potter.
Troll 2.
That's his first appearance.
That was his first appearance. Was the original Troll?
And Troll, yeah. The character name of Harry Potter. There's a Harry Potter Junior and a Harry Potter Senior in Troll, so that's where J.K. Rowling stole it from. So,
you go.
For anyone who doesn't think that J.K. Rowling is a troll, there you go.
She stole directly from Troll. But that's the thing, Troll 2 has nothing to do with Troll, but it is wonderful. But anyway, we're talking about other movies again. When you're getting off track. So bringing it back to, the production company that made all those other fantastic creature features and body horrors and Diddy movies also did Re-Animator.
We did Re-Animator.
Which is what we're here to talk about.
And Charles Band, he's the man in charge of it all. But there's another band that worked on this, Richard Band, who was the composer. Now, Danny.
Fucking Robin bastard.
He's a thieving bastard.
He's a fucking thieving bastard. Took that straight from Mr. Herman.
Bernard Herman.
Herman.
I know. I fucking remember putting it on a couple of years ago and watching Re-Animator, and obviously the opening scene happens and then it cuts to the credits and it has that weird fucking crazy credits. And I was like, why is the Psycho theme playing?
Yeah, I know. Well, I think the first time I watched this was not long after I had done work with Tim on Psycho Live. So I had listened to that Psycho soundtrack a lot, like listening to the All-Star Orchestra, like rehearse it. So I had that kind of like diddly diddly dee.
Ingrained in your brain.
Ingrained in my brain. Like I swear it's just there constantly. So hearing this kind of like up-tempo version of it, I was like, hold on a sec. And then there's just a random like little drum bit that they've added to it. And again, it does make it kind of a bit more fun and whimsical. But at the same time, I'm just like, you literally have just copied. Like I sent, we were talking about this before we came on, and I sent you the meme of, can I copy your homework? change up a bit though, so that it's a bit different.
Yeah.
And this is like that meme.
It was a picture of it was a picture of Ed
It
Sheeran,
was Ed Sheeran and
Ron Weasley.
standing together. Insert meme here.
Hello. It's a complete rip off. But then I think Richard Band admitted that he did it because he's a massive fan of the song or the tune, and it was an homage to the great Bernard Herrmann score, which is the greatest piece of music ever put to film, I think, or one of the greatest anyway.
The fancy way of saying I copied.
Oh, no.
It was homage, I swear.
It was an homage, yes.
I'm paying respect.
Yes. It is a wee bit different. Yes, there is drums and stuff, and it's a bit quicker and a wee bit funkier and stuff, but it's pretty much just Psycho.
But you still immediately go, that's straight from Psycho.
Well, actually, he also said that apparently at the end credits, there was supposed to be a disclaimer that was said, it was like a thank you to Bernard Herrmann or something similar to that. I can't remember what the exact wording was, but they forgot to put that at the end credits. So I don't know if he's lying or if that was just his way out, but
just covering his tracks. He's like, okay.
He was like, no, you need to put that in. That was the whole point. And they said, right, well, you have to pay to redo the credits, and it was going to cost $10,000 to redo the credits. So he was like, nah, it's all right.
That's fine.
That's fine. I'll just say it was an homage.
The Herrmann estate won't mind. That's fine.
Yes. So as well, so this is obviously a film that kicked off a franchise, which is maybe not as big a franchise as some other franchises like Psycho or Elm Street or Halloween, obviously, or whatever. But there's 2 sequels to this that came out a few years after this. Bride of Re-Animator, obviously, because you have Bride of Frankenstein, and this is a Frankenstein homage.
I definitely the Frankenstein elements of it, especially with what do you call the girlfriend's dad, the dean of the medical school,
Dean Halsey or something.
Yeah, his whole kind of moment where he's kind of first turned, he's kind of cowering in the corner and stuff. I was like, that moment, I was like, oh, some nice Frankenstein-y vibes here. Really appreciate that. But yes, Bride of Frankenstein. I knew there was Re-Animator 2. But I didn't know that there was another one.
There's Bride of Re-Animator, and then there's Beyond Re-Animator, which was early 2000s, I think.
Right.
Yeah, and Brian Usna, I think, had written that script as well. I think he was involved with the Bride of Re-Animator 2. So I haven't seen those. I never got around to watching those movies, and I'll have to get around to them because I think they're supposed to be pretty fun. Although I don't think they're supposed to be anywhere near as good as this one.
The OG, but, always the way.
Interestingly enough, there was supposed to be a 4th movie in the franchise called The Island of Re-Animator, which was supposed to be a loose adaptation of H.G. Wells' novel, The Island of Dr. Moreau. Which obviously has been done quite a few times on screen. So this, I mean, I can just imagine that they were on an island, and that was the only difference, really. That maybe they tried to reanimate corpses of animals. I don't know. I didn't really read into what the details of the script was, but
imagine reanimated the animals and the people, and then mushed them together.
Aye. Sewed them together like Frankenstein.
Frankenstein.
I don't know what that was. That was just
Frankenstein.
I know. So yeah, that sounded fucking awesome. I wish they had made that movie.
I mean, there's still. I think just you were saying earlier about originally it was going to be a TV series, but they were kind of told, oh no, it wouldn't work like that. I feel like if it had been today's market, they would have been like, yep, TV series it, because that's again, I think a lot of things now are moving over to series. So I'd be interested to see a Re-Animator series. I think it would work quite well now.
Like a straight up kind of remake of the first movie, or
maybe a remake and kind of set it in like modern day society. I know that's kind of been a real thing with like older horrors. We've had like Bates Motel and Hannibal and all. We've kind of had those modern-ish takes on.
You could do that, or you could actually go back and set it in the 80s, or even go back further, because the original idea for the musical was it was going to be a more costume drama based. Obviously not drama, but it was going to be turn of the century type thing. Kind of, I suppose, a bit like Frankenstein, you know, big white lid and shirts and all of that sort of stuff. So yeah, they could go back and do that, but would that be costly, or you know, is the modern day thing the way to go? I don't know, but yeah, it'd be interesting. I'd definitely fucking be up for watching that.
Listen up. Listen up.
I know.
You people out there that make the TV shows and stuff. The money.
I'll write it for you. Me and Danny will write it if you want.
We'll write it. Yeah, we'll make comedy horror.
I know. Absolutely. No bother. It might take us like 10 years to write it, because, you know, that's kind of what we do. We write stuff.
That's our shtick. Yep.
We just tend to not finish things and get them completed, but we'll get there eventually.
Eventually. It's always a work in progress. It's always a work in progress.
So, anyway, so yeah, there was supposed to be a fourth film. Didn't happen. But Herbert West lived on in comic books as well. So there's been Re-Animator comic books. But interestingly enough, Danny, here we go again. One of our other favourite horror hero stroke characters of all time teamed up with Herbert West, or teamed up against him. It was Army of Darkness versus Re-Animator.
Oh, no way!
Did you hear about this? No,
I've never seen that.
Yeah, it was like a comic book crossover between the two. I don't have no idea what the storyline, but I mean, I guess they're very similar because
the Re-Animator are very Deadite-esque.
And even the tone of the films, you know, like this is very like Evil Dead 2 in terms of like this has been a wee bit more serious than Evil Dead 2, because, you know, it's Evil Dead 2 is very, very over the top, but, you know, it's got that comedy horror element to it, so it kind of works together. I think they work really well together.
I will have to look this up now, because we all know how much I love Ash and the Army of Darkness and all. So yes, I am very keen to see West. Would they fight each other? I don't know. Or would they try and team up to reverse the effects of the reanimation serum?
It was called Army of Darkness versus Re-Animator, so I assume that Herbert West had something to do with Dead Rising or something like that. And I'll see if anyone's read the comics or owns the comics. Leave some comments in the comment section below and let us know what you think of it, and you tell us the story, and is it worth reading, because we're definitely going to get into some of those crossover comics, and maybe it's something we'll review as well. Maybe we'll have specific episodes just about the comic crossovers that we've talked about before. That'd be interesting to do as like bonus episodes, maybe. I'd
be keen to do we comic crossover stuff. I have a couple of kind of horror tie-ins. I have Batman versus the Predator, so we could talk about that.
Yeah, I think that's that's a good show. I think we'll maybe do some bonus stuff. If you want to see any
ideas,
See, we didn't even talk about that before the episode, Danny. That just came like that.
Came off naturally. Beautiful.
But we definitely will be doing Army of Darkness as a episode of Monday Night Frights
100%
next season. So make sure you check that out, because we've already done the first two Evil Dead movies, and we're really looking forward to doing this one. So we talked about this being like just so over the top, quintessential 80s horror, sci-fi, whatever you want to call it.
A jolly good romp.
It's a great romp, yes, it's excellent romp. Batshit crazy. There's a scene in this film that you just... How do you explain it? It's...
What one are we talking about?
What do you mean, what one?
Well, there's a couple of there's a few kind of
there's quite a
mental
few
scenes.
There's quite a few fucking crazy scenes in this film. I'd call it the head giving head scene.
Yeah, I was like, I think that's where he's angling for. But there's also kind of, for me, the cat scene really sort of like, I'm like, what the fucking mental? Because again, it's just this like little teddy cat strapped to his back, and he's like flailing around. But yes, the head giving head scene is. It's one of those ones that I'd actually kind of forgotten about it. So then rewatching it, and as it was happening, I was like, I don't know what to say.
I know. It's fucking it's mental. Like, it's like, what? Like, that is that going too far? Like, what the fuck? That's just crazy.
Yep. It's his whole, because he's a creep towards her from the start.
100%. He's so creepy.
He's just real smarmy, and the fact that, you know, he's kind of undead now, so he's just kind of letting loose with his perversions. It's just it's the way just the body holding the wee head. He's just like, and you're like, oh, Jesus.
Like it was obviously it was a very uncomfortable scene to film for.
I could imagine.
Barbara Crampton, man, ooh, she's unreal.
Beautiful.
She's so beautiful.
She's a beautiful lady.
She's a beautiful lady. She's a fantastic actress, absolute legend of the horror genre, and another one that we'd love to get on the show and chat about her career. Fingers crossed someday we'll get her on. What a legend she is.
We can talk about the head giving head scene.
We can talk.
She'll be like, head giving head.
Maybe she's just like admitted that from her memory. What are you talking about?
I never happened. Body double could have been a body double.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't a body double. Like definitely wasn't a body double. I'm sure I've read interviews with her before where she said that she did feel quite uncomfortable.
But again, I think it's meant to come across that way because it is basically he's diddling her, like he's dirty diddler. He's dirty diddler.
I'm almost certain that didn't appear in Lovecraft's original short story.
Oh well, I don't know. Lovecraft was a weirdy, was he not as well? And a notorious racist.
He was that, yes. But I don't know if he had a lot of sexual stuff in his. Maybe
I think a lot of
completely
sacrifice.
Wrong.
He's not fond of a virgin sacrifice, but yes, but maybe didn't refer to undead head.
That's class. Undead head.
Undead head.
There we go. There's the head there as well, just in case.
Yeah.
In case you admit it. All of you have it taken out of your memory. That's it there.
It's when he's like being held by the hands, but they're kind of like almost holding too tight, so he's just kind of like.
Yeah. But apparently the actor who played the Doctor, I can't remember. What's the Doctor? Is it Dr. Hill? Is that his name?
I think.
I can't remember. Anyway, David Gale is the name of the actor who played him, and he's fucking brilliant as him. But whenever they were at the premiere of the film, don't know what theatre or what city it was in, but he was there with his wife, and obviously the cast were there and the crew and everything. His wife walked out.
Did she not know that scene was going to happen?
No, apparently. I mean, this is, I don't know if it's 100% true, but apparently this is what happened. She walked out during that scene, which she fucking would, man. Imagine you and Inu were sitting in a scene and we're sitting in the cinema, and you know she was an actress, right? And she didn't tell you that there was a sex scene or something. And you were just sitting there, and she was going down on a guy, or something bad happened, or whatever it was. You would be like, "What the fuck? Why didn't you tell me?" You know what I mean?
Why didn't you tell me? To be fair, you know what? If she was paid for it, if she was well enough paid for it, I would probably just be like, well, you know, I'd rather you told me first before I had it just, you know, shown to me, but gotta make that money, you know, gotta make that money.
I mean, I'm guessing that it was just embarrassment, you know, obviously her friends, family was there or whatever, and she was very embarrassed, but
his creepy wee head.
That would have been really weird being his wife, and that's cinema. Screen.
What it is, it's just such a like. It's just like that scene just is the beginning of a mental spiral towards the end of the film. And again, I love the way it's shot though. Like it's so well put together because obviously he's got to look like a decapitated head. And it's really obvious that it's just all about framing.
Oh yeah, of course.
But it's just really like well done.
But like, his head's just sitting in that wee dish.
Yeah.
And he's obviously on the
table. And the blood, and he's just like lying there like, oh.
It's so good, man.
And the wee fucking the fact that they've still got the fucking like the receipt spike thing, like still stuck up in under the wee head.
I know.
I was waiting for him to sew his head back on. I kept thinking, no, he's going to reattach his head at some point, but no, he's happy enough just being carried about.
It's brilliant. But going back to the head scene, apparently Barbara Crampton wasn't the first actress that was initially cast or offered the role anyway. But the first actress who was offered the role left because of that scene.
Oh.
And I was reading, kind of trying to find out exactly why, but apparently her mother kicked up such a big stink that she was like, "Nah, I can't do this film because of this scene." Which is like, imagine your ma ringing up, fucking, "Here, mate, no, fuck, my daughter's not doing that. Wise up, you dirty bastard."
Dirty bastard.
Dirty bastard.
Dirty bastards. What the fuck are you doing?
I know. Class.
Yeah, it's just it's I don't know. Would a scene like that happen today? Do you think? Do you think it would?
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know, man. Who knows? I mean,
There was a lot
we've
of
seen
stuff
worse
in
things.
we have seen worse things, and definitely I feel like there's more modern movies that do take a more serious angle to sort of that, because I mean essentially it's rape.
Yeah, of course it is.
And there's films that definitely approach it, and I mean, like, especially some world cinema and stuff where they don't hold back.
Mhm.
But that kind of 80s approach to nudity and sex and stuff, it's not, I don't like, we don't really get that anymore. We don't get ditties for the sake of ditties.
I know.
And again, it just shows how I think it's the progression of cinema and of the film industry and stuff, and that now there is more of a respect for actors in general, regardless of gender, and are they comfortable with nudity, and if they're not, well then they just let you know now. And again, with scenes like that there, the actress had to leave because her mother didn't want her, and she probably wasn't too happy about the scene either. But would an actress have to leave a role now because they're uncomfortable? Would they just leave, or would they try and adapt the film?
They're maybe trying to adapt it and say, look, do we need to do it like this? Maybe we can film it a different way, or maybe we can suggest that this happens, but it doesn't actually happen, or something like that. I don't know. I mean, the 80s was just crazy for, especially genre films. It was very much like there has to be a sexy woman in it, and she has to get her ditties out.
Yeah.
And then it's sort of kind of not even in an arty way, like, and I just like, I'll just get the ditties out.
Just ditties. Yeah, exactly. I mean,
for no reason.
It was horror did it, comedy did it, action movies did it. Like, there's the amount of like 80s comedies that you would have watched, and like you'd watch as a family, and then a pair of ditties would pop up, and you just be like, oh, right.
Trading Places.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Jamie Lee Curtis. That was the first time she got her ditties out, and it was like very famous scene, and it was like she didn't really need to. Like, it didn't really need to be there. But it happened, and yeah, 80s movies was just full of that stuff.
Yeah.
So but anyway, yeah, we kind of talked about that. Yeah, we talked about Re-Animator. And cut. So yeah, ditties.
Are you getting started by ditties there?
Just thinking about ditties.
Jimmy Lee Curtis's ditties.
I know. Oh yeah, I didn't think I'd be talking about them on this episode. But anyway, so another fun fact about this film. Obviously, there was a lot of nudity, and there was a lot of like zombies flying about, and or not zombies, reanimated corpses.
Reanimated corpses.
But
yes.
I found out that in one of the scenes where one of the corpses becomes reanimated, they used hamburger mince, like mince meat, to cover up the
genitals.
The genitals. And that's like,
is it the burn victim?
It must be
covered in mincemeat.
I don't know. Yeah, imagine just wearing like mincemeat pants or something.
My mincemeat pants. Do you think I'm sexy in my mincemeat pants?
Oh Jesus! Fuck's sake. But yeah, so
imagine if you're like working with the lights and all on you and building up a real like sweat, and then having meat mixed with your like bung sweat.
I want to know though. What did they do with the meat afterwards? Did they throw it out, or did they like sort of?
They made a lovely stew.
Did they repackage it and put it into catering and be like, "Here you go, lads. Here's a couple of burgers we've got for you."
Bumhole chili, please.
Hello. Fucking. Oh, there's a wee funny wee hair in this. What's that? Definitely didn't come out of my arsehole.
Hey, Harry Craig. There's mincemeat stuck between your cheeks for days.
Unreal.
But that is an interesting fact, an interesting use of meat.
Well, you have to do what you have to do when you're trying to.
You gotta do what you gotta do. But again, another thing about this film, you were saying earlier about that 80s bush, plenty of 80s bush in this movie. There's what was it? It's one of the guys, or when they're running to the elevator, and Dan kind of fights off one of the reanimated corpses, and the fella he like falls. But I was just like, Jesus Christ, lad, have a trim, like.
I know.
Tend to them bushes, would you?
Here, Manscaped was not a thing back in the 80s.
No, that's true.
But it is now, and if you want to become a partner, give us some money and we'll
come on,
promote
Manscaped. Come on. You're
It's
jumping
not
on
like-
every other podcast and
I know.
everything going.
You may as well jump on ours too and give us some.
So we can shave our bungs so we don't get any hair in our chili.
We're clearly not shaving fucking anywhere else, like, but yeah.
Baldy arses.
All the arses. No, fuck that shit. So yeah, I mean, just I'm just thinking about fucking hairy arses now.
hairy arse. Fuck.
Oh, fuck's sake. Definitely not going to eat a fucking burger for a couple of days. That's all I'll be thinking about. Just sweaty fucking genitals.
Sweaty genital meat.
Anyway, I don't even know if that was true. That was just another, apparently, this is what happens.
Oh, okay.
But, you know, it's funny, so let's pretend that it's true.
Yeah. It made for good content.
So, like, this whole film, obviously, it's, you know, by the way, if you've been watching this video and you haven't seen Re-Animator, I'm really sorry that we've spoiled so many great moments.
Just like, we haven't even talked about, like, there's so many more.
What's the plot? We haven't even talked about the plot.
We haven't even talked about the plot at all. I mean, I love the opening. I think the opening is so wild because it's just you've got two doctors and like two Swedish police.
It's like
Switzerland?
Zurich, yes. Switzerland, yes.
It's in Switzerland, and they come up to the office, and all they can hear is somebody like going buck wild in the office, and they're just like, Doctor, I can't remember
his name. Guess what his name is?
What is his name? I can't remember.
Hans Gruber. It's fucking Hans Gruber.
Hans Gruber. What? So wait, did Die Hard? Did they steal Hans?
What year was Die Hard? Die Hard was before this, wasn't it?
Was it?
I don't know. I can't remember.
I can't mind. But anyway, so they're saying they're trying to get Dr. Gruber's attention, and the office door's locked, and the police end up smashing the wee window in and unlocking the door, and they go in, and and West is like it looks like he's trying to like comfort the doctor, but then the doctor like launches up into the air like, Rah! And his eyes are bulging.
His big fucking bulgy eyes.
Bulgy eyes.
He's a wild bad dose of hay fever. Like
he's serious pink guy from the ass meat.
I know.
Bulgy eyes, which then burst all over like the wee nurse lady. She ends up covered in like eye blood. Mm-hmm. And it's just mental. And you know what? They never fully explain in this movie how West managed to get away from Switzerland. He's just kind of like, oh, you know, you get to the Danny later on in the film. He's like, you gave me my chance. You gave me a chance and let me come to your school. But they never sort of explain like, was he arrested? Was he questioned? How did he get out of Switzerland? Did he run away? Did they just send him back?
It was the 80s.
There was no need for context.
There was no explanations. Come on. But there's a great line at the end of that whenever they come into the room, and obviously you think, oh fuck, Dr. West is killing this guy. And then he's like, no, I gave him life.
Give him life. Yeah, it's a pretty good moment. And then it launches into the ripped off Psycho soundtrack with all the like Grey's Anatomy drawings coming up in like neon colors.
It's class in a row, like it's a really good opening titles, yeah.
Great opening titles, but again, if you're a Psycho fan, you go, hold on a second. Bastard.
Fine, we'll let him off.
We'll let him off because it is fun. It's good. It leads you then into it. You're kind of like, oh, I'm in for something here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
With the upbeat tempo and stuff. But yeah, and then what do we get from there? We get to meet Dan. We get to meet our hero,
our straight guy hero.
Yeah, he starts as a straight guy, but as we learn in the end, love makes a man do crazy things. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, by Dan, and then obviously Dan Crane.
Is that his name? Dan Crane.
Yeah, Dan Crane. I just stuck with me because I was trying to think or not Crane, Cain. It's not something Bible-esque, Bible-y to do with Cain and death. There's the mark of Cain.
Well, Cain and Abel, wasn't it?
Yeah, and Cain killed Abel.
That's gotta be Cain from wrestling as well. Was the Undertaker's brother? Obviously, that was that way after. The mask.
Yeah.
So,
but no, there was something. It was just about his name was Dan Cain. I was like, is there something to that name? But yeah, I like Dan. I thought Dan was a pretty good character. He is just a straight guy though.
He's sort of like you're right. He kind of is the leading man in a weird way, and then Herbert West moves in, doesn't he?
He comes in to his apartment, yeah, or he moves in. He wants the basement just.
He's so angry, Herbert, isn't he? He's just
such a wee angry man.
It's when he's pure straight face with his wee glasses and all.
It's when he pure confronts the doctor, like during the lesson, like during the lecture, and he's saying, "Oh, the brain can live, the brain stem can survive 6 to 10 minutes after death, and all this here." And West just flies off the handle at him, like absolutely lays into him. And again, that I actually really like that whole kind of like I like that confrontation between those two because it sets up then great for later on when we kind of have the main sort of face off between them,
And obviously the Dean is Megan's father.
Yes.
And Megan, the love interest, Barbara Crampton, who is in love with Dan. So it's all connected. Dan the man, Danny. Danny Brown. Dan Brown. Dandroid.
We Dandroid.
Paranoid Dandroid. So everyone's connected, and then we get an introduction to Herbert West, who we know thinks he's created this serum who he can bring dead people back to life for a short period of time anyway, and he's obviously working on it because he wants it to make it better, and he wants Dan to help him out.
Yep.
And then we get the first proper test, I suppose, is with the cat, which is another super famous scene.
Such an iconic scene, yeah.
Really iconic, and it's the note actually that he leaves in the fridge. It's on the fridge door, isn't it?
Yep, it's on the fridge door.
Cat dead, details later, which is just really, really iconic.
Yep. And
you find out the cat's obviously dead, and then you think he's killed him or killed the cat, and then the cat comes back to life later on in the movie.
The cat's attacking him.
I know, but it's like a pure mad cat. Like he's got fucking the feline.
It's very
version
Pet
of
Sematary.
rabies. Yeah,
it's a bit Pet Sematary. But just I love it. I love how just campy the scene that when he's trying to like fight the cat off, and it's like stuck to his back, and he's just like running around the room, and then they just like fling it.
It's so good.
And again, we don't like it. We don't like people hurting animals. We've been very, very clear about our dislike of hurt people all you want in movies, but leave the animals alone. But there's just something about the way they just fling this like teddy cat across the room.
I know, it's class. Like that is a theme of our episodes, as we hate animal abuse and we hate seeing animals get hurt or dying in any sort of way in horror films. However, this cat dying and coming back to life is just fucking hilarious.
It's just ridiculous. And then when it's like he's like showing him how the serum works properly for the first time, and he's like, no, it's not going to be able to do much because his spine's broke.
I know.
And then they pump it full, and it's just like
you see its belly getting bigger and stuff, don't you?
Yeah,
as it's coming back to life.
It starts like kind of pulsating, and then its wee face starts moving around, and it's yowling and getting on. You're just like, oh, per wee cat, but also like this is just ridiculous, absolute batshit.
Yeah. And then they decide to try it on a human, and they're like, right, we need to try this now. Now that we definitely know that it works to some extent, we need to try it on a human body or corpse. So they go to the morgue. And
a lot of time spent in the morgue in this movie.
There is a lot. Like they get there fairly quickly in the film, and then like most of the second half of the movies in the morgue of some kind, or some way it's set around the morgue. So they get the corpse, and like, whenever that scene happens, it's just like, again, quite not scary, but like just really well done, and it is funny though. Yeah. Like it's so funny, and it's really gory as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite gory because again, whenever the corpses get pumped full of the serum, they seem to just start like bleeding out their mouth and their nose,
bloaty and stuff in there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they're kind of oozing blood, and they're all like made up to be like pale and dead. They're meant to look dead. But they all seem to somehow have like monster strength.
Yeah.
Which again I think is sort of a Frankenstein type thing. They're imbued with unnatural strength because they're brought back from the dead.
I would assume that sort of scientifically speaking, there's adrenaline obviously is going to the brain, so it's rushing through their body as well, and that gives them the idea that they're strong. It's that kind of theory that a mother could lift a car to save her child because she's got so much adrenaline in her body that she's trying to save her child. So it's kind of that theory, I suppose. And I do like that they address the scientific side a little bit in this. I don't know how much truth is to it. I wouldn't imagine there's much truth to it, but at least they sort of address it.
Yeah. I mean, we do love a bit of science fiction.
Of course, yes, we do. We do. We are science people.
Men of science.
Men of science.
Men of science fiction.
Yes. But so, the film just goes from crazier to crazier to crazier after that. And the whole room of corpses, isn't there? And then
there's because what is it? After they reanimate that corpse of the John Doe, it's Megan's dad comes in.
Oh, that's right.
Like, what's going on in here? And
he's wearing a suit and all, isn't he?
Yeah, and then the corpse kills him, and then they reanimate him. Yeah. Or no, the corpse bites his fingers off and all, and then kills him. So they reanimate him, but everyone just thinks that the Dean's gone mad. He's kind of like, oh, he's lost his mind. He tried to attack Dan, and that's when the wee funny scene where West is like comforting Dan. He's like lying over him, and he like takes the recorder off him and just like slips in his pocket, because you're like, of course he's still like out to do his research. His thing.
He's still got his business head on, his scientist head on.
Exactly, but just the way he's like lying over Dan, like, it's gonna be okay.
I know.
It just tickled me because I was just like, you're such a wee fucking weirdy.
I know.
And then it's from there. Then it's just descending into them trying to. It's like Dan's trying to. He's trying to do good, but also still kind of helping West. And then West is obviously just cracking on with what West does. And that's when the other surgeon, the brain surgeon lecturer, comes to West, and he's just like, I know you can bring people back from the dead. It's just like, he's so matter of fact about it. He's just like, how do you do it? I know you can do it.
He's trying to find out because he wants to be the man. He wants to be the person that is able to do it. I want to find his name. Is it Hill? I can't remember his name. David Gale's the actor, but what's the fucking surgeon's name? Carl Hill. Dr. Hill is his name. That was right. But yeah, so so he gets involved, obviously, and then fuck me, the scenes that he's in is just crazy. He loses his head.
He loses his head. He gets his, what is it? They use a shovel to take his head off. They like cut his head off with a shovel. Am I right? Is that how they do it? Is there not something with a shovel in this?
No, it definitely is.
And then he's, does he reanimate? Who reanimates him? Does West reanimate him and then he steals the serum?
Aye.
And then he goes off to the morgue, but he's already like sent her dad to get her.
Aye.
To bring her to basically be like molested.
I know. It's fucking one of the best scenes is whenever he's trying to get into the morgue and the wee guard's sitting. reading his paper or something. I can't remember.
No,
What
he's reading. What is it? It's Boudoir, which I
of
assume
course.
is like some sort of Playboy style magazine.
Sort of
He's sitting
sexy
reading.
magazine.
Yeah, and then what is it when the surgeon Dr. Hill goes into it, he's just like, well, looks like it's my break time. And like just goes off with this magazine. Like, he's definitely off for a wee.
He's got a surgical hat or.
It's the surgeon's mask and
mask.
the cap, and you can just see, but it's like one of those heads where it's like a dissected, like half face, half skull. It's just ridiculous looking.
I know, it's fucking hilarious, but just his movements, it's really well done actually, because it's supposed to be it's supposed to be a decapitated head pretending to be a real person.
Yep.
But it's obviously a real person pretending to be,
yep.
A decapitated head pretending to be a real person. So it's like the movements are really well done, and I just think it's really clever, but it's fucking hilarious.
It's so funny, and just the Ian carrying the head in like the bag in like a gym bag, and when he opens it, he's just like, that's
I know. We get all those nice sort of like close-ups of his head, like obviously because they're covering the shoulder. Classic sort of old school filmmaking. Cover the shoulder, pop his head out.
No,
but it's whenever the head's sitting in the dish, it just gets me.
And he pours because what is it? It seems to be that he is able to be more cognitive because one, he was fresher than all the other corpses, and two, it seems that if you like feed blood to it, because sure when he puts him in the dish, he like fills it full of blood, and he's like, he's kind of like, but like I think we're meant to assume he's like sucking it up through his neck. Which is then causing him to be the brainy.
It's like giving Re-Animated. It's like giving him more life, giving blood to the brain, I suppose. Yeah, it's giving him more life.
Yep.
So he's not just like a kind of a zombie.
He's a zombie-esque guy. He's
intelligent,
actually cognitive.
So, but yeah.
And it's when he turns. Was it when Dan and West kind of bust into the rescue, and he's like, "Well, I've had it planned all along," and then all the other reanimated corpses like bust in the room, but they're all bare ass naked.
I know. That's a great scene. That's fucking hilarious. That's brilliant, and you get the big fight sequence and all. It's great, fucking brilliant stuff, man. Really great 80s fucking horror sci-fi. It's just
so over the top, cheesy as well, and it's the bit then that from there. So West what is it he uses to like destroy Hill's body? There's something he like fires at him. Is that a gun? Or is it? I can't mind.
I can't remember.
Whatever it is, but it's when he like blasts his like chest open, but then the intestine turns into a tentacle. And it's like dragging him into the body.
It's weird because it's kind of like it tries to scientifically explain, you have to inject the serum, it goes to the brain, it brings him back sort of using science, and then you see shit like that and you're like, they clearly just went, let's just fuck about with it and
let's go Lovecraft with it.
I know, let's proper go Lovecraft with the sort of tentacle and all, that kind of idea. But yeah, I just think it's great. So well done. Such a fun movie and such a fun last third of the movie as well to sort of get to that end. Dan, what is it happens to Dan?
He's trying to get away with Megan.
Oh, Megan.
It's Megan.
Yeah.
He's trying to get away with Megan, and then she ends up getting choked out by one of the reanimated. So he goes like back upstairs, and he goes up in the elevator, like up to the main sort of hospital floor, and he's kind of got he's like, quick, get her a bed, and we'll try and resuscitate her, and they're doing the like clear, but she's dead. And everyone's kind of like, all sad and stuff, but then he kind of looks in the bag and there's the serum. And I love that it focuses in on him like putting the needle to her neck. Now it's very obvious that he's kind of like gone past her neck, and it's like, it's not even anywhere near her neck, but it fades to black, but the serum is still on the screen and you just see it like
going down
and then cuts to black completely. I was like, oh, that's a nice wee moment right there.
Teasing bastards.
But yeah, I love that he is then kind of he uses the serum for his own you know,
Yeah,
selfish love and stuff, you know.
For love, which
love.
would also make, you know, let's say she does come back. Is he a necrophiliac? You know, how does, you know, where's the line? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Would you write a reanimated corpse?
Yeah, strange one. What are your thoughts on
necrophilia?
On that ending? Not necrophilia, just the ending. You know,
no,
what happened?
I liked it. I thought, yeah, you're kind of like, no, well, that makes sense. I think Dan as a character, like, we know he is absolutely infatuated with Megan, you know, and they're talking about like their life together, and they're always like lovey-dovey and stuff the whole way through. So yeah, the fact that he's kind of given the power to bring her back to life, it's very obvious that he's going to do it. And again, some people might say, well, you know, I wouldn't do it or whatever, but I think in the moment, yeah, in the moment when you've got something like that, of course you're going to do it, you know. So yeah, no, I liked it. I thought it was a decent end. And again, it leaves it open to a sequel, which they then did, you know.
Yeah. Bride of Re-Animator, and then the Beyond Re-Animator as well. But yeah, fucking fantastic film. Such a fun watch. If you haven't seen it, please go and watch it. I know we completely spoiled it for you, so I would imagine that anyone that's watching this has seen it many, many times. Fantastic film. Great score. Well done, Bernard Herrmann, for that. And then fantastic performances from Jeffrey Combs, Barbara Crampton, Bruce Abbott, David Gale, and really well written and great special effects. Like really, really dodgy 80s horror effects in there, but just brilliant.
But we love it. We love
all that shit. We do, and it's actually, you know, I know we're sort of laughing here and saying it's, you know, a kind of cheesy 80s horror sci-fi, but you know, it has really held up quite well in terms of how people look at it, and it is very much a modern day Frankenstein tale or a story. And I do love that Herbert West is like this mad scientist. He's taken what Dr. Frankenstein was, but he's, you know, he's turned it up to 11. To steal a quote from This Is Spinal Tap, but Herbert West is just a fantastic mad scientist, and I think he's definitely up there with all the mad scientists that there are, because obviously that's a very, you know, it's been that trope, that character has been used so many times in films over the years, but I definitely think he's up there with Dr. Frankenstein. We sort of had talked about potentially doing a double bill of Frankenstein and Re-Animator at one of our screenings sometime, so maybe that will happen eventually. We don't know.
Further down the line, if we
probably won't, but
on again. But
hopefully, yeah, that's something that I'd love to do, and we could try to work it in with some sort of scientific festival or something. We don't know yet. We're thinking about things. We'll see. But it'd be a great double bill.
100%.
And I definitely think Herbert West is up there with Dr. Frankenstein.
Yeah. I would agree.
Happy days. So anyway, that's all we have time for this week. What's your thoughts on Re-Animator? Have you seen the sequels? Have you read any of the comic book crossovers that we spoke about earlier with Ash from Evil Dead, Army of Darkness?
Yeah, let us know in the comments below. Would you like us to watch the sequels? Talk about them? Let us know as well.
Yep, I'd definitely be up for that. And would you like to even see a TV show of Re-Animator? I think you're right, Danny. I think it's ripe for something there anyway. I don't know if it would be a long thing or just like a kind of short-lived show, but I think there's something there that they could do something with it. So hopefully they'll do something with it. I just think it's a great character and a great story. So you never know. We'll see.
Yeah.
This is my favourite Stuart Gordon film. I do really love From Beyond, which is kind of like a weird. It's not a sequel. It's got nothing to do with this film, but it is a very good double feature with this because it's got a lot of the same elements. So we'll maybe do that at some point as well in the future. What's your favourite Stuart Gordon movie? And also, you know, if you want to leave any comments about any of the Lovecraft stories that you've read or that you enjoy, please feel free to do that in the comment section below. Danny, what else do they have to do?
They have to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon. Hit all the things. Just hit everything, but not Not the thumbs down. Don't hit that. But hit everything else.
Hit that bell.
There,
is,
there.
the bell is there. I keep saying it was up here and then it was here and now it's here and it's actually here somewhere. So subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at the Fright Club NI. Check out the website www.thefrightclubni.com. We've got loads of editorials on there, and you can go back and watch some of the archive videos on there too. Links to the YouTube channel. We've got some exclusive interviews on there as well, so you can go and read some interviews that we've done over the past year or so. But yeah, so tell all your horror friends, spread the word about us, because we do this for free, so it'd be great to get some more followers.
We do it for the crack. We do it for the Gantz.
We love Ganching. We're the Jolly Ganchers. We're playing around with the Hairy Wafflers as well. That was a name that we threw out there. I don't know.
Hairy Wafflers.
I know. We were talking about the hairy meat bumhole thing from earlier. I don't know if that's going to work. So we'll maybe leave that.
Sweaty meatus. Sweaty meatus man.
The meat. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But for now,
bodies.
I know. Oh Jesus! But yeah, we'll just end it on that there because
end there.
We're just digging a fucking hole for ourselves here. So, but anyway, until next week, stay safe, take care, all the best, guys.
Bye.